In 2017, a woman in the Cayman Islands was sitting with a question she couldn't let go. She's been experiencing what millions of Caribbean women experience every month: persistent discomfort that most women have quietly accepted as simply part of life. She started asking why, and the answer she found wasn't something anyone in the Caribbean was talking about. The products on those pharmacy shelves, the only options available, the only ones Caribbean women had been using for decades, contained synthetic materials and processing chemicals linked to irritation and long-term health concerns. And the organic alternatives that existed in other markets, they weren't here. Melesia Adderley was not looking to build a company. She was looking for a better product. When she couldn't find one, she built it. Women's Haven is now the first female Caribbean-owned organic feminine care brand in the region. More than 100 stores, 15 countries, and 8 years with 0 investors. Built from the Cayman Islands. This is that story. Every founder has a story. These ones just happen to be Caribbean. This is the Entrepreneurial podcast, where we tell those stories properly. My guest today is Melesia Adderley, the founder and CEO of Women's Haven, the first female Caribbean-owned organic feminine care brand in the region. Melesia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very, very much for having me. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be here.
So I nailed the intro, right? I've got
I think you
everything.
did.
Okay,
I think you did your
awesome.
research.
Yes, definitely. So before I get into the details of you building this brand, my first question to you is, I always want to understand who someone was before the business existed. So take me back to 2017, before Women's Haven, before any of this. Who were you and what did your life look like?
Well, here we go back in time. But before Women's Haven, before any of this, I was working in the corporate world. I completed my Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Business and minors in Psychology and Science and Technology in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Then I went on to complete my Master of Science in Organizational Learning and Leadership from the School of Education with a proud 4.0 GPA in Miami Shores, Florida. I returned home here in the Cayman Islands. I got married. I started having kids. I got into the corporate world. I originally wanted to be a teacher. Unfortunately, that did not work out. I did not get that opportunity. Looking back, I thank them every day and say thank you for not hiring me, because look at where I am today. Nevertheless, I still was able to execute my teaching skills. I used to teach at the International College of the Cayman Islands here, as well as the University of the West Indies Open Campus. I was in the corporate world. I worked for the Monetary Authority. I worked for ExxonMobil, was a territory manager here in the Cayman Islands, traveled the world in oil and gas, pricing, importing fuel, all that good stuff. And I went on to work in a huge private company here in training and development.
Yeah.
And eventually I got to a point in my life where I had my 4th child, and I'm like, I'm missing everything. There are milestones and, all that stuff. And while I was still in the corporate world, I started my first business, which was Island Grub, which was the first online food delivery service here in the Cayman Islands. So way before COVID days.
Yeah.
I started that in 2015. And we were probably one of the very first companies, among the first companies in Cayman to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment as well. So I was proud of that with Island Grub. So I had that going for a while. And eventually I stumbled along the path of organic feminine care products, and that started off like, why did people always ask me, so why you choose pads? Like, how you even thought about doing this?
Yeah.
And it started off as on a personal journey. Like, I used to think it was just me being very uncomfortable throughout my menstrual cycles. And I came across the concept of organic feminine care product. And when I did, I actually thought it was a marketing gimmick. I was like, this was like in 2016, like, when everyone are trying to snatch organic and natural on everything. I was like, this can't be real. Anyway, I'm experiencing discomfort and I thinking it's only me. 6 months went by and I was like, you know what? I still experiencing this discomfort. Let me try to test this stuff out. Maybe something's happening, And anyway, I purchased the product and it absolutely changed my life. And I thought it was a placebo at first. I was like, I must have wanted this to work so bad that I think it working and it maybe not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kept trying it, just the same consistent, like I felt comfortable. I didn't even feel like I was on my period. And my period then went from 7 days to 3 days. I was like, hold on. I went into research, taking into studies, looking into ingredient labels, and wondering, like, why, if something this simple could make such a huge difference for me?
Yeah.
And I thought it was only me or something wrong with me. And can you imagine what other women would experience if they were actually knowledgeable of this simple change, just switching to organic? Like, simple as that. And then I went down this rabbit hole. I was like, I gotta figure out how to be able to, I cannot unknow what I now know. And I need to tell other women about it. I cannot gatekeep this because there's nothing to be worth gatekeeping. Because at that time, I didn't think anything about business and making money and nothing like that. You know, I bring in products for myself and then I started to tell other women about it. I was like, see a little stash here, I will become the pod girl. When you ask for a pod, anybody got a pod? I'd be like, me. I am so eager to share it with everybody because, you know, it's a taboo topic. So I had to find a way to ease my way into talking about this thing and giving you a pod. Anyway, eventually women started to come back to me. I was like, oh yeah, I am really on to something. Anyway, I was like, okay, let me try to make a business or maybe like educate more women. So I started a social media page and educating women. And, you know, I'm just bringing in this brand, my personal stash. And I said, bringing in extras, people buying my personal stash. And I was like, you know what? Let me try to make this a little bit, you know, bigger, you know. So I tried to get into stores, create a website, you know, get an official business going. And my business partner from the Bahamas, she saw what I was doing. And she reached out to me like, how you getting these pods in Cayman? Because I discovered organic pods when she was in school in the States. And she was like trying to get them in the Bahamas. And it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't figure out how I was doing it. I was like, girl, come, we gotta go figure this out together. I'm gonna put you on what I on and let's do this together. So Bahamas was the first country we actually expanded to. And then we got into stores and all this kind of stuff. So women now started to be like, all right, Melesia, they're too expensive. Because by the time you ship, because they were already expensive from the beginning, by the time the store markups and all of that, they're like, okay, it's too few pads per pack. And the cost is too high. I like, listen, I don't own this brand, you know, I'm not trying to make no bunch of money off and I see the cost here. Like, it's not nothing. Anyway, I was like, they kept coming to me. I was like, they're not hearing me that I don't own this business. So let me reach out to this company because I'm like the authorized distributor in the Caribbean right now. So let me reach out to them to see if we can work together and collab, right? To build something for the Caribbean because, you know, I don't see no other Caribbean person ever made pods to do it. I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah.
But what's the hurt to try, right? So I asked, they was like, who you is? Like this brown skin Caribbean girl. And I hear nothing but you. You nine Forbes, you nine CNN, you nine Times, you nine Essence. Like, what happened? Who are you? And I'm like, okay. Then they come with these unreasonable conditions. And if you want to do it, it's going to be this way. I'm like, okay. Since y'all don't want to give me a seat at your table, I think I'm going to have to go build my own. And that's when Women's Haven went from just being a little brand to a movement. Like, I'm like, we're going to have to do something about it. If they don't care about us down here and we need these products, we're going to have to figure it out. Awesome. I started to reach out to manufacturers and I'm like, all right, how am I going to manufacture my own pads? Like, I don't even know where to start. There's no mentor. There's no coach. There's no government programs. There's nothing. Literally nothing. I am zero from scratch in my research mode trying to figure out how do I manufacture pads? How do I compete with these big Fortune 100 companies? Went down that rabbit hole. About a year of researching manufacturers. Getting samples of this one, that, and figuring out what all I want. Then when I finally say, okay, let me try this type. This is my top manufacturer. This is who I want to work with. They're like hundreds of thousands of MOQ, minimum order quantities, per size. So if I want to do line as regular, I gotta have to do this 300 and something thousand, 400 and something per size. I'm like, I can't afford that. I'm not... I'm a regular, like, I don't even, like, you know. So I was like, all right, no problem. I understand. I just continued selling the brand we were selling because, like I said, I didn't really think, you know, who else do I see doing this in our region? Like, to even think, you know, maybe I can, you know. Anyway, moving on, I continued selling the product and I kept in touch with the manufacturer, like updating them, maybe getting new countries, maybe getting more stores. And this kept that relationship going till eventually one day when I reached out and I asked them again and they said, you know what, we'll give you a chance. We'll give you a chance to go below the MOQ, the minimum order quantity. And that was it. We did it through special authorization and we created our first brand. And I said to myself at this point, because I don't got no investors, no bank, nothing. Like I literally
Yeah.
taken every bit of my own personal money, and I said, this is a huge risk. Because first and foremost, starting off a product-based business with your own money, all your livelihood, your savings, everything, not a good idea. It's always best to get an investment because you gotta live, right? So I was like, if this don't work out, I got 2 daughters. We gonna have pads for the rest of our life. We gonna be the pad girls. This gonna be a win-win. I don't even gonna buy pad. Like that's why I had to tell myself to mentally proceed, right? I was like, all right, did it, and here we are today. Many countries in, 6 sizes of the sanitary napkins that we're on to know, and over 100 different retail stores. Like Women's Haven is more than just selling products on a shelf or to say we have a business or anything like that. It's to bring what we need in our region for us. We're always getting second grade products. We're always getting super expensive things or take forever for anything nice to reach our region. When we try to buy it online, we got to go ship through a freight forwarder. You're lucky if they even ship to a freight forwarder. We don't get access to high quality products in our region.
Yeah.
And I needed to change. I wanted to change that for us because that simple change that blew my mind from just changing to organic pads. That's something I could not gatekeep and think, let me just keep that to myself. There was no way to get the products in the region. It was too expensive. So I had to build my own, and here we are.
Awesome.
Women's Haven.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could just end the interview here. But I've said the same thing when it comes to baby formula, but that's a story for a different day.
Oh my gosh. If I had enough funding, we will be in baby. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So my next question, because you covered the previous one that I wanted to ask. So this one, there's a distance between seeing a problem and deciding you are the person to solve it. And a lot of people see the problem and do nothing. So what crossed that distance for you?
That is a very good question and something a lot of us have to face and endure here, especially in our region with the limited resources. It's limited everything, red tape, everything. It just takes, when something is aligned and it is your purpose.
Yeah.
God works everything out. I'm a believer in God. Like, I can tell you my story. I wanted to be a teacher. That was my passion, to be a teacher. Like, I never in a million years thought I would be selling family care products. Like, which woman want to stick around dealing with periods for their whole life? We absolutely hate our periods, okay? They're disgusting. I have to now deal with it for my rest of my my life, dealing with products and customers and helping, educating, So it was that when purpose and alignment is there and when God gives you a vision, like you just have to execute.
Yeah.
You can choose not to. I could have just said, I don't have time for all this. I had my previous business. I closed down Island Grub to focus on Women's Haven because I just had to. I use the delivery aspect of Island Grub and incorporate it into Women's Haven. Now that's what I use to deliver across and do my thing and my logistics and all that stuff. It has to take that time. When God gives you a vision, you have a purpose on this earth. And alignment comes your way. You have no choice but to you just like a magnet, like your magnet to go. You just gravitate. God just guides you. Once you give God that power, just lead me, Lord. Show me wherever you need me to be. He will guide you accordingly and lead you right there. Because you hear my story, like, I thought it was a placebo. I thought it was just me. I never knew that it was like a silent epidemic amongst women that we all experiencing this very uncomfortable feeling. And no one's talking about this topic. Like, it's a taboo to speak of your periods. And I'm here breaking glass ceiling. Every room I'm in, I'm here talking about periods. And I don't openly, someone has to be the change you want to see in this world, as the quote, one of the famous quotes say. And with that, it helps you to make that step to fulfill your purpose, and I think that's where that's the mindset shift. That's the alignment that works to help you overcome that. I have to be the one to do this. And actually just execute and not do it to be recognized. And I think that's another thing I need to touch on for that particular question, because a lot of the times we do things and nobody cares. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. When I started in 2017. Most people have only started hearing and knowing about me last year. Last year was my biggest year, 2025. It was my biggest year of recognition. I could not paid for the amount of recognition that I received last year, and I didn't ask for it. I just continued fulfilling my purpose. I always tell people, when I got into my first country to the Bahamas, nobody cared. Second country, nobody cared. Third, fourth, it wasn't until like my 10th 7th to 10th country that people started to be like, oh, Women's Haven? Oh, you're in different countries. Cayman Islands didn't even care. Mark 6:4 talks about, being in your own home country. And people don't even care. Like, no one really cares. So you cannot do it for that fame or expect people to jump on your bandwagon from the get-go, because that sometimes is very demotivating for some entrepreneurs. Like, you're not getting the government attention. You're not getting the private, you're not getting the people attention. You feel like you're stuck, but you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Your results, your internal results within your business, for me, I kept expanding organically. Like, I did not reach out to any of these women who are a part of my team in Women's Haven, because I don't run Women's Haven in all these countries. I have CEOs of Women's Haven in all of these countries. So it's more than just selling products. It's empowering women, giving them ownership of a business. Full ownership. They own 100% of their profits. I don't earn commissions or anything from their sales. They're owners of businesses in their country. They're building a legacy for their family, So it's more than just it's just a brand and just a business trying to sell products, So you have to do it for more than just accolades or being seen. You will be seen eventually. Just continue to fulfill your purpose. And that's a really tough hurdle for a lot of people to overcome.
Definitely, totally agree. But you are a teacher, just not in the classroom sense.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that. And I know I am, because I execute all of my skills to my team, because a lot of these women who are with me, like, I've mentored them from the ground up. They didn't have trade and business licenses when some of them started. Didn't understand how to fulfill doing businesses, doing proper accounting, doing proper record keeping. They never knew what the back of their grocery store looked like. Now they're fulfilling orders to their major grocery stores in their regions. Invited to events because they're now entrepreneurs and seen to be recognized for a regional brand. So they have grown with me, and many of them been with me for years.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I didn't know that you had them as CEOs in their respective regions.
Yes.
So are the brands still under Women's Haven, or they're able to rebrand it as something else?
No, Women's Haven is sort of like a franchise, but not really. But it's like a franchise. They have to pay a distribution license and fee to license the brand name. So they get exclusive distributorship access to Women's Haven. So they're the only person in the entire country that will get access to purchase at Women's Haven from the distribution center at a wholesale price.
Okay, awesome.
And they get exclusive pricing throughout the region that no one else around the world gets.
Now you have the template for this. Nobody had done it before. What were you trying to do in the Caribbean? What did you actually do first? I know you mentioned Cayman and then the Bahamas, but what was next after that?
Country orders. I can't remember all of the country orders, but like I said, I did not strategically reach out country by country. Women saw Women's Haven and they reached out to us to expand. But majority of the expansion after the Bahamas was in the Eastern Caribbean, like Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Guyana, Grenada. You're heavy on the Eastern Caribbean coast.
Yeah. How do you guarantee what you're putting in front of Caribbean women is exactly what you promised them?
I use it every single day. I got 2 daughters that have to use these products, and there ain't no special batch for me. We all got to use the same thing, and I'm going to make sure that they are safe. And we're certified with, international testing centers across the world. We're Intertech, SGS, FDA. Anyone who wants to test the products, we're happy to do that. We're all about transparency, because I don't have the time to be beaten around. I have 2 girls and I don't feel like dying, and I don't want nothing to happen to any of us. We are trying to make a change. It's not about trying to get rich quick. Because right now, Women's Haven is the cheapest organic brand on shelves across the Caribbean, most of our countries, because we don't have a middleman. We don't got to deal with all of that extra red tape. You understand? So it's not about trying to get rich quick or make a lot of money. It's about access for us. Many countries never even had an organic brand on shelves. And that's the sort of problem we're trying to solve. Access to safe organic products, because we have tons of period poverty drives and tons of stuff going on across the world and our region. But the thing about that is that when you give a girl a conventional pad that's going to lead to further medical issues, are we actually really solving a problem or passing on the buck to another problem. Because now when she develops these ailments from these toxic paths because she couldn't have access to products, you give her a toxic product. Then she has medical issues, fibroids, infertility, cancers, endometriosis, PMOS, PCOS, you name it. Infections, heavy bleeding, cramps, excessive, debilitating pain. Who's going to help them then? That's like feeding a hungry person a bunch of candy and a bunch of sugar and expect them to be okay and healthy. If you're consistently giving them junk food, you're not going to give a hungry person junk food every day. They're going to get sick. And that's essentially what they're doing with period poverty drives, giving toxic products to our most vulnerable. But that's a conversation that is a pet peeve for mine. But, it's a great heart to be able to give what, some people say it's better than nothing. Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, adverse effects that come along due to long-term use. We use these stuff for 30 to 40 years of our lives as women. You understand? So we have to think about it long term. And I tell people, it's not about just trying to sell Women's Haven. There's organic brands out there. Go and find an organic brand that you're happy with. I can tell you, I cannot attest to any other organic brand out there. Maybe good, maybe not. Some are good. I used to use one before, but I can't attest to the makeup of that, but I can attest to the makeup of Women's Haven. I know we source every single layer of material. We can give you a testing report. We can give you everything. So I can attest to Women's Haven. But our message is don't just choose women. Choose an organic, safe brand for your use.
Yeah.
Women's Haven is an option that is now here as well. But there's plenty of bread on the bread aisle, They all seem to sell. Everybody have their unique features, so why can't we all make it out? Just choose a safe brand. And that's our fundamental message. If you don't have any, Women's Haven is here.
I like that bread reference.
Yes.
So here's what I really want to understand. You built this from the Caribbean, not from New York, not from London, not from a city with a manufacturing plant across the street. So what did building here specifically cost you that building somewhere else wouldn't have?
Everything. Oh my gosh, what a question. The Caribbean is very behind. We are not as resourceful as other first world nations. For example, I give you two major things that were issues for me that I had to overcome and create my own blueprint for. Funding, first and foremost. Grant funding in the Caribbean or funding for anything whatsoever of entrepreneurial business is very seldom, especially from the Cayman Islands. They think everybody here is some rich people and whatever. We are regular people here. People do what they got to do and whatever, but there's regular people here who don't have access to financing. Across the Caribbean, the same thing. There's so much huge business ideas, but they want your house, your land, your arm, your leg. There's nothing to be able to assist you with opening a small business. First and foremost, biggest issue that we have in our region. Compared to places like the US, they have billions of dollars and they're always giving out money left, right, and center. Never in the Caribbean. Secondly, is shipping. Oh my gosh. We are not interconnected. We do not have an inter-Caribbean shipping network. So if I want to ship a laptop or a piece of paper to Jamaica from Cayman, I got to go to Miami, then go to Jamaica, so on and so forth across the region. So that's another huge hurdle that we have in our region where we cannot even connect and ship, let's say, some water from one country, want to buy a product from another country. It's so expensive just to ship that product. It makes no sense. You might as well go with the foreign brand. You might as well go with the outside brand. You cannot support our own locally because we don't have that connection. We don't have a system in place for our region to be able to be interconnected. Two major things that I will feel like just being in Caribbean has put me in a place where I've had to jump over unnecessary hurdles just to get my business off the ground, because I wouldn't even have been able to expand to the Bahamas because I can't ship from Cayman to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the one that had the products.
That's another business idea you could probably take on. Regional.
I've explored shipping, and shipping is another ball game in itself.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
There's so few people that own actual shipping companies in the world. And that's something that's interesting to go down that pathway. But we have a distribution center in Florida, which is our hub. Yeah. And that works the best for us, given the Caribbean freight forwarders, and everyone can just utilize that hub for our products to be able to get them across the region.
You have zero investors. So I
Yeah.
want you to sit with that for a moment, because building in 15 countries, you've explained the model, but still 15 countries, 100 plus stores, or probably even more, with no outside capital is not a small thing. So
I
was
know.
that always the plan, or did you try to raise money and decided against it?
It ended up being the plan because we don't even have access to investors here like that. At least in Cayman Islands. There's nothing. There's no existing funnel of that. There, Cayman is slowly improving. Around the region is slowly improving, where they are offering, trying their best to assist businesses across the region with doing such things. But this ended up being the mission from the beginning. And we are just a self-fund. We were like a bootstrap.
Yeah.
So each CEO, we pool our money together, and that's how we have been surviving all these years, just bootstrapping it. So like you give everybody to put in, we want to get a new product. So for example, all the products are not my idea. Every CEO has equal amount of rights to create an idea, do a new product. Some countries even got special products designed just for their country. That's not even in other Caribbean countries. So what we do, if we want to get a new product, we just say, hey, any countries interested, blah, blah, blah. We put in our money, make up the deposit, get it manufactured. Once it's all done, we split out the inventory based on how much. And that's how we've kind of been bootstrapping it as a team. It's not ideal. We do suffer stock runouts just because we have to bootstrap things.
Yeah.
And timing and cash flow and stuff like that. But we do make it. We are able to still get our stock. It's just sometimes timing is a bit hard for us, shipping and all that kind of stuff too. So
Right.
yeah.
I want you to talk to me about, getting into retail, right? We know you have your CEOs in different countries, but for
Yeah.
you specifically, how do you as a Caribbean founder walk into a buyer's meeting and get that yes? What does the pitch actually look and sound like?
You got to see yourself as a Fortune 100 company. You got to see yourself as a big brand that is out there, equally comparable, competitive with the existing brands that are sitting on the store shelf today in these stores that you're trying to get to. You got to first see yourself. If you don't see yourself equal to them, why are you trying to get on the shelf next to them? First and foremost, you got to believe in yourself and your products and everything you do.
True.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I see, that a lot of Caribbean people, they just create these things and they themselves believe the competitor's product looks better than theirs. So you're trying to go on shelves next to them? Make your packaging, make sure you got everything together like it's a big brand. Like nobody could tell that it's a Caribbean brand. When you look at women's haven pads, people always say, I cannot believe it's a Caribbean girl made this pad. Look at this packaging, look at this. I'm like, so what are you trying to say? Caribbean people can't do this, so I guess that's what they're trying to say, because most Caribbean brands always, little makeshift and little, no barcode, a little sticker. You get it professionally
Yeah.
done to your appearance. And when you walk in there, you make sure you can say what makes your product different from what's on the shelf today. And if you can come up with something that makes your product different from what they currently have on shelves, you're just another one on shelves. Back to the bread on the multiple bread example, is that the unique thing about that is that each bread has a unique feature to it, whether it's tough on the outside, some kind of nuts or whatever, something different about each bread. No two breads are the same on the shelf. They're all unique. And that's what you need to come with as well.
I want to get personal a bit now. I want you to tell me about the lowest point, right? That moment that you almost didn't survive. What happened and what did you actually do?
Financing. It's everybody the biggest issue, and I'm not gonna make it sound like I'm some rich person. I have it all together. It is very hard, and I remember it came to a point where I couldn't even pay my mortgage. I had to call the bank and be like, I need to switch my date. I need 2 extra weeks to figure out how I gonna get this money to you. I never forget it. And I was like, I don't want to ask nobody. I gotta figure it out. Me and my husband, we gotta figure this out. That was one of my lowest points. I was like, I don't get my house taken away. I got 4 kids. What am I doing? I go get a job. Like, if I go get a job, I don't have to have my business. And like, it's just, I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And Island Grub was still around because they still had Island Grub open a while. Bottling the 2, and Island Grub draining me. And I gotta close this business down. Like, this is draining me, So that's one of my very low points in my entrepreneurial journey, in saving myself, my family, her finances, the business. That was one of my toughest points personally. I mean, I've had other tough points with in the shortage of inventory and dealing with shipping and all the shipping issues happening and all that kind of other things too. But that one was one of the things that hurt me most.
Yeah.
And believing in yourself and just keep going. And now, here I am today. I'm still here. Paid every mortgage, never missed a day. Never missed a month.
So we mentioned money.
Yes.
So I want to ask you the same question again, but tell me what Women's Haven cost you personally, not financially, right? What did it take from you that had nothing to do with money?
For me personally, I don't really get breaks. I don't really not work. I don't have a vacation. Put it that way. I don't have a vacation per se.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, because, running a business and if something happens to you and it can't function, you don't really have a business going. You just working for yourself kind of thing. My business can operate without me being there in the day-to-day. It's fine. There's somewhere to fill in for everything. But when you coming from the corporate world, you're used to your Monday to Friday, your weekend off. You don't really got to worry about decision making all the time. You just kind of got a free mind a few times. Maybe you can do your personal things. But for me, I am consumed in entrepreneurship. I am consumed in Women's Haven. I don't see it as a bad thing because I love it. It's my passion. But it has taken away time in the sense of me doing fun things and going and getting entertainment like concerts and all kind of different stuff. I don't go out to all of that. Like, that life of mine has changed and I'm just so focused on progress, trying to build my legacy, build for my kids so they can have something, help other families across the region, help them build, because I'm always helping them to build their legacy. So it's taken away that, I guess, entertainment, fun stuff. I don't know. I just don't feel like nothing I've lost. I feel like I've gained so much by being in Women's Haven, even though I don't have a 9 to 5 and all this kind of thing and I work all the time. But to me, that would be the only thing that I would miss sometimes, is like not having to think about everything all the time and being the go-to for everything and responsible for everything. That pressure, it has definitely caused that for me that I did not. I mean, I kind of had it before with Island Group, so I guess maybe I was more used to it by Women's Haven. So just being an entrepreneur in general, just that pressure. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me. I don't really have much negatives. I don't go through depression. I don't have no sad days and crying, Just some days I wish I had a 9 to 5 and I didn't have to think about everything. I just had money coming in every month and I have to figure out how to make money. That's what I miss in corporate.
Totally understand. My next question, what was the moment you knew that this was going to work, that this was actually real?
The day the woman came back to me asking for more pads.
So this was before Women's Haven became a name.
Women's
Haven, when you were
Haven,
still bringing in other brands.
Yes, that's when I knew, because I wasn't going to risk my life, risk all my personal money on something that did not show concrete. Like, this makes sense. I mean, I was already in the Bahamas and going into in maybe Trinidad and second. I was already in a few countries with another brand. And like I tell you, I not put up no ad looking for people. They saw Women's Haven. I was just educating. Like, we didn't use no sales tactics. Purely education. Do you know what's in your pads? Do you know what's in your pads? Do you itch? Do you this? And people just started messaging. They wanted to find out, how can I get Women's Haven to my country? Tell them what the requirements are. They're like, I ready to sign up. And here we are. So I think from that moment, I knew we were on to something. It's just, I mean, so much women were going through this thing and nobody was talking about it. Then when I look at store shelves, there's no organic pad. I'm like, now since Women's Haven has been in the Caribbean, do you know how much organic pads from around the place come up on the shelves now? Please. Trendsetters,
Definitely. So 8 years in, 15 countries, you have a view of the region that almost nobody else has. So what do you think is still broken in how Caribbean responds to problems its own people are trying to solve?
We just need more structure, more regional, a systematic structure. I mean, we have CARICOM, we have the Caribbean Development Bank, but they just need to do more. I mean, I know they say they have their meetings and they do their things. I'm just being upfront here. Not trying to criticize, condemn, or anything. I absolutely love the fact that we even have a CARICOM. We even have a Caribbean Development Bank. Caribbean Development Bank has helped me, and the only institution in the region to have ever helped me by giving me, I won a grant through the ITC She Trades Caribbean, so I'm extremely grateful for them. And they have been the only ones to ever give me grant funding. That I won that last year. But I feel that we need more together unity and just stop bickering amongst each other. Stop trying to fight for power. We're all powerful. Every country is powerful. We're all in this together. Let's just try to make it work. Like, put the infrastructure in place, intra-Caribbean, more communications, more dialogues, stop segregating. We operate in silos.
Yeah.
Each country, sort of, and then they show up at CARICOM and they talk about a few things. Something happens around the world, a regional thing, and then they make a statement. But we are not feeling it in the region. You know, maybe it's only on the governmental level that CARICOM is being involved in. CARICOM to get down to the private sector part. No, like, governments can only take the Caribbean so far. Private sector is what drives economy, not the government. Private sector is what drives economy. So you need to invest in the private sector so that we can work together as a region. Because everything right now is more governmental. You invest in this money in this country to do this, and this money in this country to do that, and it's all governmental deals. What about the private sectors? What about investing in infrastructure for shipping, for logistics? Like, why don't we have a Caribbean hub where all Caribbean countries can have a hub where, you know, a hub up north for the northern, the Western Caribbean, a hub for the Eastern Caribbean. So we can all just interconnect and have inter-Caribbean shipping, payment gateways where we can all communicate. There's cryptocurrency, there's digital currencies. Why aren't we interconnected? That's just the biggest fundamental if of me. I don't know. But private sector involvement, I think, would really, really help our region rather than just sticking to the governmental high-level funding and support that they currently only offer to at the moment.
So my last question to you, before you even get to my last question, correct me if I'm wrong, on your website, you're able to order through the website, right? If an individual. Yeah. So that is shipped from where? Their home country, Miami? Where would
their
they
home country?
Okay, home country.
So if, for example, you're in Jamaica, you're in St. Vincent, you place an order online, you choose St. Vincent as your country, you'll see all your currency show up for all the pricing, so you'll be EC. When you place your order, the products are already in St. Vincent.
All right,
so you can go pick it up, get it delivered, whatever the distributor. Like, you don't have to wait. Like, you can pick it up right away if the distributor is available, pick up today, same day pick up, same day deliver is available. There's no getting it from no, we're a legit company. I know it's different from most Caribbean companies, but when you order on our website, it's in country already. You don't have to wait for it to arrive.
And I saw US on there as well. Can people in the US order?
We're on Amazon as well, and we ship to US. Our distribution center is in the US, so we also do retail fulfillments through our US distribution center. So you can order on Amazon, you can get it shipped to you, get your tracking number, order on our website, get it shipped to you with your tracking number.
Awesome. So my last question to you. So somewhere in the Caribbean right now, someone is sitting with a problem. They can see that nobody else is fixing. They haven't started yet. They're not sure they're the right person. What do you want them to know?
The thing I would want them to know is that purpose is real. And when you align in your purpose, everything will work itself out. Just do it. Like you say, just do it. Just go ahead. Fulfill your purpose and everything will work itself out. And don't do it for the accolades. Like, your efforts will literally go unnoticed until one day it no longer does. And that's the biggest pill entrepreneurs, especially in the Caribbean where we lack visibility. It's the hardest pill to swallow because you just want people to know about you, hear about you, like your posts. Sometimes you don't get no views, you think no one cares. When I started, no one liked our posts. No one followed our page. We have now in 2025, we had 30 million views on social media. And that's pure, just organic stuff that we're doing and posting and stuff like that. So don't worry about trying to be seen when you first start. Just do it. Fulfill your purpose. Do what you have to do. Once you know logically this makes sense, you know this what you want to do with your time. This is how you're going to proceed with your future. Consistency. Success is not built on luck. It's built on habit. You got to do it every single day. You just got to keep doing it. Even when you get to the middle and you feel like you're stuck, you got to keep going. There's many days I didn't know if you were going to make it. Where I'm going to find the money from? And all of a sudden, money just comes. Someone to place the order. I'd be like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You just got to keep going because I could have given up. Everybody could give up. Every successful brand you see today, they could have given up. what did they all have in common? Consistency.
Consistency, yeah. You know, I feel like this is one of your closing lines for all those speeches that you've done on stage. So I have 5 more questions, but I want to explain those 5 in a minute. But I think this is a good time for me to squeeze in, not taking away from your Caymanian roots, where, you know, us Jamaicans nuff. So it's a perfect time for me to say that you're half Jamaican.
Yes, I am.
So drop. You said to me that you can speak patois, so I need
Can
you to
chat
say.
part was straight, man. What y'all talk, sir?
All right, I'll give it to you. I can verify to our viewers and listeners. I can verify that she's Jamaican and she knows where in Jamaica she's from because it's
Yeah,
like
man.
2 minutes away from me, from where I'm
Yes.
recording this right now. So yeah, definitely. So my
Yeah,
final
man.
questions. So
And my husband's Bahamian, so big up to the Bahamas as
all
well.
right,
So we
so
can't
yeah,
leave him out.
So Bahamas, Jamaica, and in Cayman. Nice, love it. So
Yes.
that's actually the Caribbean, the melting pot that we are.
Yes.
So I know you saw this poll on my Instagram stories. So this is what I'm calling it. So it's the Founders Final 5 questions submitted through the stories. So
Okay.
the first question, what is one tool or resource you could not run a Women's Haven without?
I don't know if it's going to be too general, but a system in place. Like you need systems in place
System,
for
yeah.
everything. An accounting system, an inventory tracking system, invoicing. Like you have to have systems in place, document things because you will lose track. You cannot keep up just trying to keep it in your head or a little message or systems. It really helps to structure your business and keeps you ready to scale or to grow or to change, whatever it is you need to do. Having that system is going to help you with that.
What does a hard day look like for you compared to what it looked like in year 1?
Getting these questions wrong. Okay. So year 1, okay. A hard day in year 1 for me would be just trying to be seen, trying to get out there with visibility and educating women and getting people to know about us. Trying to build a business, just everything you trying to just be seen, noticed, get out there, build the sales. Versus now, a hard day to me would be, we got so much. We be out of stock. We sold out across the region. We got to figure out, like, we got to get this money, like, you know, figure out cash flow, manufacturing, where the pods right now, have they shipped yet? Listen, that, like, you know, making sure my quality remains the same, making sure my pocket, like, all the other nitpicks of, I don't got to worry about the sales because it's just there. I got to worry about all the other things and making sure the business remains sustainable. There's inventory is there. Did I complete this thing for this activity I need to do later? We want to expand and do this. Like, for example, I just did menstrual hygiene day for the first time in Cayman. I try to do it's just so much other things outside of just trying to make a post and get people to see you and visibility, you know.
Because I didn't reveal who I was speaking to, so this one might be a bit tricky. So many women in this space already exist when you started, probably not in the region, but globally.
Yeah.
How did you get past that fear, the feeling that this has already been done?
And we kind of touched on this a bit in my talk.
Yeah.
But doing a business isn't about being a copycat. It ain't about follow fashion. It ain't because you see someone doing something, oh, they selling to make a lot, let me do it too. That's not how you build a foundation for a successful business. That's borderline hater, and you jealous, and you trying to follow. How you get past that is that, are you creating something unique that doesn't currently exist or may exhibit in a different way? What is unique about what you are doing? As long as you have this differentiator between you and someone else, you're not the same. All of us, I have tons of people selling pads on the shelf. Tons of pads, but we all selling pads, right? Think about it outside of it. We all selling pads. But what makes us all different? I am unique. My packaging is the only resealable aluminum packaging on shelves. One differentiator. Next is we're the only one with the graphene strip and 100% organic materials made in the Caribbean. We're the only one that's made in the Caribbean. Like, I can keep going on with stuff that those other brands don't have, but we're all selling pads. You know, so you have to make sure that when you start a business, You be unique, and you got to be bringing something to the table that does not already exist. Why replicate what's already there because you think that it's me? If you want to replicate it, go and partner with them and ask to franchise their business, ask to pay for their brand, do something, partner with them. Don't steal their idea. Because like with Women's Haven, it's hard to start manufacturing pads. So they partner with me and we do it together because they can't do it on their own. It's too much. So that's the angle you need to take. I know something I did not mention in my talk with you too, but I was caught. Someone trademark infringed my brand here in Cayman, where they took all my words, all my mission statement, objective, and they put it on their packaging. They put it on store shelves here in Cayman. So I went to restock the store one day and I saw it. I was like, what is this? Took a picture, went to my lawyers, filed a cease and desist immediately, called the store, called them to pull them off store shelves. It was a government employee. That's why trademarking is very important as well.
True. Right.
Why have over 8+ and counting?
Next one, 15 countries mean 15 different currencies, or depending the currency that they use. So pricing structures and cultural nuances. How do you navigate all of that without losing your mind?
That's why you have partnerships. Like I am in none of these countries. I'm a Caymanian. I can tell you about Cayman. I can maybe tell you a little about other countries I know, but I don't live there. And I'm not trying to put my face there.
Yeah.
So that's why we partner with women in the regions who are citizens. They're full 100% citizens of there. They talk like them. They look like them. They know everything that's going on. They're there every day. That's where they live. None of my distributors and none of what works with Women's Haven live in the States, but running something. No. That doesn't work like that. We all live in the region. So that's the reason why we chose a structure with what we did. Like people say, you're giving me all your retail sales. No, I wouldn't have gotten into these countries and into these stores if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
I'm not there. You know, in most countries, when you want to get into stores, they prefer to buy from a local person rather than overseas. That's just any grocery store in any country you go to. They'll much prefer to buy locally. So that's the reason why our model is get someone locally to work with. They know the culture. They know how to talk. You don't have to figure out anything. They know everything. So that within that realm and through our distributorship license, we have brand stuff that we have to adhere to, and they adhere to it in their way for their culture in their country. And that's how we combat that. While I know all businesses may not be able to partner with someone, then you just have to do your own research. But it's going to be harder that way because, you know, Caribbean online information, seldom. It's much less research on anything Caribbean.
Definitely. So the final question, if you could put one message on a billboard visible from every Caribbean island, what does it say?
Make the switch to Women's Haven. Your body, no thank you. We are the first female Caribbean-owned organic feminine care product line of its kind.
All right. Awesome. Love it. Everybody, that was an incredible conversation with Melesia Adderley of Women's Haven. So my 3 quick takeaways before you go. 1, the gap is the opportunity. Melesia didn't invent the concept of organic feminine care. She identified that the Caribbean had been excluded from it entirely and decided to close the gap herself. Every Caribbean founder has a vision of the gap sitting right in front of them. Number 2, zero investors is not a limitation. It is a decision. Melesia built a 15-country brand on her own terms because she chose to control the build. Funding shapes everything, including who you answer to. And then number 3, distribution is the real product. Getting the product right was the first step. Getting it into 100+ stores across 15 different Caribbean markets, different regulations, different buyers, different retail cultures. That was the actual build. So, Melesia, thank you so much for being here. This was awesome. So, my final question is, where can people find Women's Haven? Where can they find you and support what you're building and follow your story?
Well, thank you very much again for having me. I really, really appreciate this opportunity to share my story, a piece of my story. I have so much that I could share, but, you know, we have a talk another day.
Yeah.
Or if listeners want to know more details, I'm happy to come back on again. You can find me on socials. My name is Melesia Adderley, Mrs. Adderley, MRS, Adderley, Adderley, on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. On Instagram, I have a Linktree profile, so you can just click on that, my link in my bio, and I'll give you all my information. You can find Women's Haven at womenshaven.com. You can order online there. We're also sold on Amazon, and we're in multiple stores across the region. To find out what stores we're in, you can just visit our website again, womenshaven.com/locations, and that will show you a list of all the locations across the world where you can find Women's Haven products in stores.
All right. Awesome. So that's the builder for this week. If this conversation moved you, share it with a founder who needs to hear it. Leave a review, and it helps more Caribbean stories reach more people. And if you have not already subscribed to the Founderpreneur Weekly or Thursday newsletter covering the Caribbean founder economy, the link is in the show notes below. I'm Stephen Standery. Until next week, keep building.